Right now we're going to talk to Lynda Bulla. Hi, good morning.
Good
So glad to
morning.
have you here.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is wonderful.
I heard you had been on a show once before.
Actually, I've been on the show twice before.
Oh, fantastic.
But I have a new book out, and I wanted to come and share it with everyone.
That's what we want you to do. But you know, even though you've been here a couple times, I don't know much about you. So can I ask you a few questions?
Certainly.
Okay. You were primarily a writer of books, or did you work at some other work?
Actually,
before?
my real job is a real estate broker.
Oh.
I have my own office in Kerman, and that keeps me pretty busy. But I have found the time to write eight. I have 8 published books right now.
Oh my heavens!
Children's picture books, and I'm exceedingly proud of them.
Oh, I guess so. That's fantastic. Now, this is writing, and it's a little bit different from real estate. How did you get interested, and when did you get interested in writing something?
Well, I went back to college as an older student, and one of the professors in one of my classes said, "You're really very good at this," when I was doing essays and papers and things. And he said, "You maybe need to think about pursuing it." And I had never given it much consideration.
Wow.
But started to kind of jot things down. And then when my oldest granddaughter started school, she was diagnosed with dyslexia and was having a real trouble learning how to read. And so I wrote her a poem, and the poem then became my first book.
Oh, that's fantastic. I was going to ask you if it had to do with your children.
Oh,
because-
absolutely. Matter of fact, all 7 of my first books are all dedicated to my grandchildren. I have 7 grandchildren and 7 books.
You'll have to tell them, great-grandchild, come on, come on.
Yeah, they're getting up there a ways, but we don't have any of those yet. So
Okay. Well, tell me about this book. Is this is 4th, 5th, or what is this?
actually, The Blanket of Miracles, it's a story. It's based on a true story, and the family that told me the story, it's their blanket and their family history. And I was so intrigued by it, I just had to do it. And it is bilingual, so that makes it really special.
Wow.
The Blanket of Miracles, La Cobija de Milagros, is about the backstory is there was a young girl at age 5. She had about 22 brothers and sisters in Mexico. The parents were killed. And so she was left an orphan and brought to the United States by her older brother.
Oh.
And so she lost track of most of her, the rest of her siblings. Fast forward numerous years, she's married with a family of her own, and her older sister Juanita makes contact with Jessie, the gal in the story, and says, "Come to Aguascalientes for a visit. Bring your family for a visit." And so off they go. And Juanita owns a yarn shop, and she weaves material for blankets and sarapes and skirts and sweaters, and just, is this wonderful artist in weaving. And so they all go down to visit Juanita, and when they get ready to leave, Juanita presents Jessie with a blanket. And she said, "Into this blanket I have woven all the love I could never give you as a child."
Oh.
And so they take the blanket home, and the blanket then becomes the family treasure for all kinds, from headaches to heartaches. They wrap themselves in the love of this blanket.
Oh, how fantastic.
And so the story needed to be told, and I was just honored and humbled enough to be asked to tell it.
Oh.
And so that's the story. It is going to have a book signing on Saturday at a book barn in Clovis. They're having a picture book festival there, and they have asked me to be one of the authors to come do it. So I would just love to see everyone come out to the There's going to be so many incredible authors
is this Saturday?
This Saturday
At what
from
time?
1 to 4
1 to 4.
at a book barn in Clovis.
Book barn. I've been over there.
Oh, it's a fantastic place. Doug Hansen's going to be there, and he is just an incredible, not only author, but artist. Margarita Engel is going to be there, and she's just won some numerous awards for her books, children's books about Cuba. It's going to be just really fantastic. I've got so many author friends that are going to be there.
I'm going to
so
try
excited.
to remember being there because I'm an author too, so I feel like one with them.
There you go.
When I was talking to you before, you showed me the picture of the real people.
Yes.
That is fantastic. If you could hold that up. This is the live people that the story was taken from.
We have Jesse. And we have over here on that side, we have Juanita and Jesse, and this is the real blanket, the real thing that the family still has. They don't use it anymore on a daily basis, but they do use it whenever there's some kind of trouble in their family. Yes, they have to heal it.
That is fantastic. But I'd also like to hear about some of the books you have done before, because
certainly. My first book is called The Old Clock on the Wall, and as I said, that one's in rhyme. And it's about a little girl who doesn't want to learn how to read. She thinks it's too hard to do. And so the clock is her mentor, and the clock says, you don't have to read the best to have fun with it. And he says, I didn't tell time the first time I tried. And so it's just a darling story, and it's about perseverance, and it's about not having to, you can still have fun and not be best at something. When you think about it, a professional baseball player who has a 300 batting average, that's pretty good batting average. I mean, that's what they're all striving for.
Yeah.
That means he misses 7 out of 10 times. And so I point that out in the book in a fun way to just let them know they don't have to hit it out of the park every time they try something. They can still just do it and have fun doing it.
That is fantastic.
My second book is called KatyDid, and KatyDid is about a cricket who doesn't think there's anything special about her. She's just a cricket.
Just a cricket.
And so she learns about WYSIWYG. And WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get. So if you're always looking at the negative, you're never going to find your opportunities.
That's right.
And so when KatyDid then realizes the idea of WYSIWYG, she says, well, what if I'm afraid to go after the more that there is? And so she's given the confidence bug to have the courage to go after her specialness. The next one I have is called The Chirkandooce, and The Chirkandooce is about a barnyard full of chickens, turkeys, ducks, and geese, and nobody likes anybody very much because they all think they're better than everyone else in the barnyard. But when an egg appears and they decide to hatch the egg, they come together and start to appreciate what everyone's bringing to the mix. And so that they start to get along better because then they're having some knowledge of each other and their specialness. And so but when Sam hatches and grows up, he doesn't know what he is because he doesn't look like anybody else. And so he decides then he's a Chirkandooce, which is chicken, turkey, duck, and goose, just kind of all jumbled together. And he's so happy when he figures that out, that he sings a song. So this includes a CD with the Chirkandooce song on it, and it's just really fun. The fourth one is called Freedom Rings, and it's about a dragon. And Freedom lives in a wonderful town called Merca, and it's a very prosperous, pleasant place to be. But not everybody in town thinks Freedom is wonderful because he's big, and he's noisy, and he burps when he eats, and he's just a big responsibility to have around. Even though he's very helpful, they just decide to send him away to his cave. And so when some bad guys come to town, they see that the townspeople really don't want Freedom, so they think, well, if we get rid of Freedom, we can take over the town. And so they come to town to attack Freedom, and the townspeople then decide that Freedom is worth defending. And so the townspeople rescue Freedom, and Freedom rescues the town, and everybody's a hero, and it's wonderful. The next one I have is called A Little Drop of Water, and there's an interesting backstory to that. When my mom was when I was a year old, actually, my mom started the story. And she did a pen and ink drawing. And when she passed away, I found it amongst her papers, and I just had to finish it. So that was my next book, and it's about a drop of water that goes on a big adventure. He lives in the ocean, and he goes up to see what's on top, and evaporates into a cloud. It's the life cycle of water. Becomes a snowflake and melts and comes back down.
how
It's just
interesting.
delightful, and it's
Yes.
wonderful for third and fourth grade teachers who teach the life cycle of water. It's perfect. Matter of fact, I've had aquarium people look at it, and they're excited when they get their aquarium all built. They'd like to be able to have it in their gift shop. So that's going to be fun.
Wonderful. That's so good.
Tony's a Hero is the next one, and it's about a tractor who doesn't want to be a tractor. He wants to be a sports car because it's way more fun.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, tractor work is kind of dusty, dirty
Yeah.
stuff, and so he thinks sports cars would be way more fun. And so he just drives back and forth through the orchard. It's beautifully illustrated, but then there's an accident, and he's able to rescue some people in a car, and he rescues them because he's a big tractor. And so then he's happy with himself that he is what he knows his purpose now.
Oh my gosh. I can't get over this because this is so important what you're teaching in these books, and to put all of that meaning of things that they're going to have to need in their life and their feelings about themselves, to put it in books that they could just read every day.
Well, these books, I call them books with character, and they're designed for adults and children to read together. There's so many people today that seem to be afraid to talk to their children for whatever reason, and they don't open the dialogue. They're all wired in, plugged in with electronics, and they don't start talking. And that's probably, to me, about 70% of literacy is talking to your children, reading stories to them, and then dialoguing about the message. It's just so important that we do that with our children. Kids don't have a rite of passage anymore like they used to.
No.
And they need that direction. How many times do you sit around the dinner table and talk about the olden days when the kids will roll their eyes and kind of get bored? And, Uncle Harry has told that story so many times and everything, but it really does help them know how to handle things when those kinds of situations come up.
It's wonderful, and I'm so glad you're doing it. And every time you come in here or get a new book, come on in. And let's say one more time before we go about it's Saturday
From 1 to
4
Book
Book Barn
in Clovis.
And you're going to have so much fun there because these artists are just full of life and imagination and everything. So go on over to that. I'm going to do it myself.
I hope to see you there.
Okay, well, I will, and thank you so much
you.
for coming in. You've been just delightful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, we'll be right back.